Hey guys, it's your buddy Key here, and welcome to Motorcycle Insurance 101. Now, full disclosure, I am not an insurance agent, but I am an agent of life. This is coming from somebody who has owned over 5 motorcycles in a span of a few years. So I'm basically talking from experience, and I hope you guys can learn a lot from it. If I'm slurring a little bit, it's because I got a new helmet, track helmet. Cheek pads are pretty tight. You know how that go. Now, why do you need motorcycle insurance to begin with? For one, in case you get into an accident, motorcycle insurance covers you, your vehicle, their vehicle, and them. Even if you have liability insurance and not full coverage, it may not cover your motorcycle. However, the person that you got in a wreck with, it still will cover them and their vehicles. Sure, it's legal, sure, it's required, but it's necessary more so than anything else. So based on your state, you need at least liability insurance, the state minimum. Now, what's full coverage insurance? Full coverage typically has comprehensive and collision insurance. What those coverages mean is that if you get into a wreck, it'll cover your vehicle, and if your vehicle is financed, that same insurance will help ensure that the finance company gets their money back for the collateral of their vehicle. If you finance a vehicle, you don't own it. The finance company owns it. I was going up a hill in third gear. That's pretty bad. Now, if you buy a motorcycle from the dealership, they're going to require you to have some sort of insurance on it if you're financing it. Now, let's say if you're paying cash for that vehicle, you are not legally allowed to leave the dealership riding it without insurance. You can take the motorcycle, sure, but it has to be on the truck. Like, you can't drive it from the dealership with no insurance, whether you're buying it or financing it. And insurance is so taboo because a lot of creators don't even talk about it. Isn't that interesting? I'd be looking for videos on it, and I don't really be finding anything, so I figured I'd make a good video about it for you. Right now we're on college campus, if you couldn't tell. That's a nice bike. I wonder what that is. And that's why a lot of motorcycle riders actually run away from the cops. They don't either have insurance or their tags are not registered. So these are the things you got to keep in mind, man. Imagine you go out and you buy an expensive motorcycle, let's say 10, 20K, hell, even 7K, and it's not fully insured, and you wreck that motorcycle. You are fully on the hook of that bike. Now, if it was fully covered, insurance would write you a check for what they think it's worth, and a lot of the time insurance will write a big check for it. Now, full coverage insurance is typically a lot of money compared to liability. Let's go off of this bike, for example. Full coverage on this motorcycle is around $230. Liability is around $30. Isn't that interesting? My bike is valued at around $8,700 to $9,000. That's what insurance based the metrics off of. Now, a couple other things that determines how much you're going to pay, either for liability or full coverage, is your driving history. If you got a whole lot of tickets or had your license suspended a few times, they're going to be very wary to insure you. And some insurance companies won't even hire you. Some insurance companies even do soft background checks and soft credit checks. Yes, these days your credit score can determine how much you're going to pay every month on your insurance. It's crazy, man. Like, insurance companies be getting their money. And now, apparently, insurance companies are charging even more, whether you have good credit and a clean record, because apparently last year they reported that they paid out a lot of money on claims. So now, Geico, Progressive, all of these companies, they're charging even more just so they can make up in profits for last year. Let that sink in. Another reason why insurance is a little bit more money than usual on a motorcycle is because insurance companies and finance companies look at motorcycles as toys, aka recreational vehicles. Now, this is what they don't tell you. Even if you have good credit, trying to finance a motorcycle, it's going to go off of market rate. Now, even when interest rates were low for houses and cars and all kinds of other stuff, interest rates on RVs and motorcycles were still a lot higher. I remember when I got my car loan, I got it at 3.4%, but yet my motorcycle loan at the time, not this bike but a different bike, it was hovering around 6%. Now, motorcycle and recreational vehicle interest rates are around 7 to 10% on average. And you can thank the market and the economy for that. Now, insurance is typically cheaper if you have it on a smaller displacement bike. I have full coverage on my brand new Kawasaki Z400, and I think at the time it was a 2022 brand new model. Full coverage was $64, and that's because people hardly ever crash on them. So you got to keep these things in mind. When you get a 636 or a Gixxer 750 or higher, especially something newer that's really expensive, don't think that your YouTubers that you're seeing on TV are paying cheap for their S1000s and Ninja H2s and whatnot. It's very much so expensive. My insurance agent told me that insurance is extremely expensive on a Gixxer 750 in general. He said he gets more claims on this specific motorcycle than anything else. That was from my agent, and I'm with Allstate. Which brings me to my next topic: insurance agents and buying from online. What are the differences? An insurance agent can typically work out some things for you to where you end up saving big time. They know all the tricks and tips. Insurance companies are so interesting. And if you go on the website, it's cool and all, but you better get an insurance agent. They're going to save you the most money and the most headache relief that you're ever going to have. I've done both. I've bought insurance policies online and I went through agencies. I've even went through third parties, but to have an insurance agent, a good one, is a beautiful thing. And for my older individuals out there, there's a few ways that you can actually save a little bit more money, which some of you know and some may not. Me and my wife are married. That didn't sound right, did it? Obviously, that means we're married if it's my wife. I'm married. How about that? And we get a marriage discount, a homeowner discount, a bundle discount for adding our car to the policy. All kinds of discounts. Now, when it comes to bundling, your motorcycle will never be on the same policy as your cars in-house. Those are going to be separate, but if you have it with the same company, then you get the bundling discounts. Insurance is so taboo. There's a lot of steps to it. I mean, seriously. And everything I'm telling you, an insurance agent had told me, and that I've been utilizing all these years. You can definitely take my word for it. I'll tell you that now. I'm literally living that right now. So yeah, these are things that you got to keep in mind. You also get other discounts like driving discounts, as far as if you take your MSF course or you take a class in a school for driving. All of that adds up. I got like 9 or 10 discounts on my current policies, which is kind of insane. And if you have some tickets or you got a bad record, you may want to sign up for the Drive Easy programs. I think all the insurance companies have it, where you can save a little bit more money if you download an app and it tracks how you drive. Now, these are things that I wish somebody told me when I first started out in motorcycling. And then a lot of you guys will go and buy a brand new motorcycle, S1000, ZX10. You'd be like, I could afford this payment. Going into the dealership, $300, $400, $500, which is still a lot for a motorcycle, but it's all about the loan amount that you're financing that makes it that. But you guys got to keep in mind is you have to do your research on these bikes, and that's going to determine how much motorcycle you can afford and what motorcycle you're going to buy. See, the interesting thing, right? You need to look at the whole payment combined if you're thinking about financing. Okay, your motorcycle payment is $300, but after 3 insurance companies that you checked into, all of them are around $200. And sometimes it's a little higher or less depending on the bike and the company. So if your motorcycle payment is $300 and your insurance is $200, that means you have a $500 a month payment. That's what you're paying every month, total. And do not let your insurance lapse, because what's going to end up happening is your insurance company is going to let the DMV know that your insurance lapsed. And you're going to be screwed, because now you ain't got no license, and then you get pulled over on your bike. It's going to get not repoed, but it's going to get towed, all because you don't have insurance. These are things that really happen. When you take care of the little things, you ain't got to worry about the big things. Now, if your budget is $300, then you're going to have to put down more money to decrease your payment by an extra $200 to go from $500 to $300 a month. Not everybody has a crap ton of money to put down on a motorcycle. So what do? You either A, have to wait, save up a little bit longer to buy the bike that you really want, maybe 6 months to a year, whatever, Uber, DoorDash, whatever you need to do. Or you change what kind of motorcycle you're going to get. That's what you got to do. And not everybody wants to decrease the type of motorcycle that they want. So you're better off relieving yourself from instant gratification for growth in order to get the motorcycle that you want. I've done both. I've been on both ends of the stick. I bought bikes that I had no business buying, that I did not plan out and get insurance for. Then I've had bikes that I've done the right way. You got to ask yourself, do you want to be worrying up late in the middle of the night if you can afford your motorcycle, and being scared of it being repossessed if it's financed, or scared that you can't make your insurance payment? Then do some due diligence. When you do due diligence, man, you're setting yourself up for the future the right way. When you put in the time and effort to make a great plan and system, the nice thing is, all you got to do is set up that damn auto pay, set up your payments, or do what you got to do, and not even think about it. That's when you know you did it right, if you're financing, obviously. And I think I keep bringing up financing because not everybody is paying cash for motorcycles. It's not really a normal thing. It's like, sure, people do it, but the average person is walking in a dealership and financing. Some people are lazy, don't want to go through all the hassle of going to marketplace and finding it private sale. But also, you can't blame them, because you never know what you're going to get unless you're mechanically inclined and can really scope out a good deal or not. But I want you guys to always remember, if somebody is selling something, they're not selling the object, they're selling their problem to you. Now let that sink. Oh, what happened over there? Hope everybody's all right. And it's, man, you know, it's such an interesting life. There's so much accessible to us as far as financing, insurance, but nobody tells you how to do it the right way. And that's what I'm really, really tired of. They don't teach you this shit in school. It's like you just have to learn. I don't like that. Why should I have to find out through trial and tribulation? I'm not complaining, but it would have been nice to have a leg up, you know? I love that in America we have free will. We can do whatever we want, whenever we want. There's certain motorcycles that we have here that are banned in other countries. I have so many people comment from other countries saying, bro, you can't even ride that over here. And if you do, you got to ride or be a part of some course and learn for 6 months before you can even think about being able to legally ride these. The downside to having free will in our country is that there's a lot of things that could slip up. Not to say, hey, ban leader bikes and certain type of motorcycles. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, with free will, there's things that get missed. Nobody teaches you how to ride a 1000 other than your uncle down the street or something. Your friend, like, you know, and that's cool. That's the awesome thing about America. Adventure. But man, a lot of people have died on leader bikes, and that causes insurance to go up, especially when a lot of fatalities happen to be on one particular motorcycle. You get what I'm saying? All I'm saying is do your research before you buy any motorcycle, cash or finance. See what it's going to run you, because even if you own a motorcycle outright and you get full coverage, it's still going to be just as expensive as if you financed it, because you need the same coverages in order to cover that bike. Your roadside insurance, that's typically not a lot of money, no matter what your record is. Roadside might be like $5 every few months or so, or 20 bucks, 30 bucks a year. That's really nothing. You do want to have your roadside insurance, I've learned, because there was plenty of times where I did not have roadside, and I'd be like, oh, I can save money. Excuse me. Oh, I can save money on that. Have a friend told me or something like that. Well, guess what? Anytime that I broke down and I did not have roadside insurance on my policy, tell me why that's when a friend would be busy, or they're out of town, or their truck is down or something. And I'm like, ain't this a bitch? Anytime I didn't need a ride, you were available, but now all of a sudden, you're not. And it goes to show that a lot of people are just not reliable. No disrespect to anybody. All I'm saying is CYA. Cover your ass. It is nice to have these things. If you're getting over, you need to get over. What are you doing? That's also why you need insurance. Guys like that. CYA, guys. Period. Because then it saves a lot of frustration. You're not sitting on the side of the road mad or anything. All right, you know, you got these things taken care of, in place in case something happens. And the steps that you do, the systems that you do put in place, make sure they're reliable and not lousy systems. I'll never forget what Denzel Washington said. He said, don't confuse movement with progress. Woo! Man, that's a bar. You could be doing all the right steps in your head, but in the wrong damn direction. Life is funny that way. Now, when it comes to insurance companies, as far as who's affordable and whatnot, it is still going to be dependent on your driving history, your credit, and all of that. Credit's not the biggest thing. Your driving history is most important, but again, they look at both. The best companies I have had, and I've had a lot of them, I've tried them all. Every 6 months you can renew your motorcycle policy, or a year, and then you may go with somebody who's cheaper. The best companies I've learned who are the cheapest is between Progressive, Allstate, and Geico. No one else. Oh, sorry, maybe Dairyland. Dairyland is really good for smaller displacement bikes like 400s and stuff. They are dumb cheap. That's who I had my brand new 22 Z400 through, where I was paying $64 a month. It was through Dairyland. I'm currently with Allstate, and I don't know if y'all have noticed, but I'm only recommending you stuff that I've used. I'm not sponsored by none of these people. This is just my opinion. I know for a fact it's true. Geico is great, but Allstate and Progressive are similarly the cheapest. They are very great with their pricing. Both liability and full coverage. They're just incredible. What is City of Columbia Police doing in Richland County area? Ain't that interesting? And we both just ran a red light. Ah! Can't pull me over for that if you did it. A lot of insurance companies also will give you gear and equipment insurance. On my policy, even though I got liability, I'm insured up to $1,000 worth of equipment and gear. That insurance will write me a check for, whether that's theft or if it was damaged. Now, how cool is that? And it's included in my policy. I don't pay anything for that. And that's on a liability policy or a full coverage policy. And if some of this seems taboo and I'm all over the place, please forgive me, because a lot of it is taboo, and insurance in general is all over the place. Don't let me get started on life insurance. You couldn't sell me a life insurance policy if you wanted to. I have had it with life insurance agents. That's a topic for a whole nother day. That ain't even got nothing to do with motorcycles. Technically, it does, but it doesn't. Life insurance, that's a whole different topic. We're not even gonna get into that. Nope. Topic for another day. And guess what? If you think that insurance is just too expensive for you to afford, you're working minimum wage, or you're still in high school and, you know, just don't have enough money to afford a bike and insurance and all, you just simply need to wait. And of course, I'm not being harsh on you guys. This is just from somebody who's 26, who has lived life a little bit, to tell you these things. Tell you what I've done and how I've done it and what I did wrong and how I corrected it. You just need to wait. It's not your time. Buy a little dirt bike or something. Get used to going through the gears and keep it off of the street until you can afford insurance. Hell, even buy a dual sport and keep it off the street. That way, when you get insurance, you can just slap a plate on there, go to the DMV, register, and you can ride it on the street. For those who don't know, who are new, dual sports are basically dirt bikes that meet legal requirements to be on the street. Headlights, mirrors, whole 9 yards. Had to get some Starbucks real quick. This video is way longer than I anticipated it to be. But yeah, guys, I hope you all enjoyed. And y'all have a good one. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help.